Good morning, everyone. Yes, it's another day, and I thought I'd do a little something different. This is my first YouTube posting, so I've never filmed myself before, so this is kind of fun. So we're going to start with this. You guys don't have the book, I get it. So I want you just to listen, and there's going to be a little quiz on this material when you guys return. We're only going to read one chapter today, so follow along or listen. I'm used to saying follow along. Listen as Miss T reads A Door in the Wall. June passed and the days lengthened into summer. The plague had died out, but with its going went many of the people of London, even some of the monks. Once more the monastery kept its usual round of service to God and humanity. The monks who were left added to their own the duties of those who had died. Brother Luke sometimes helped in the preparation of food. Sometimes he carried Robin down into the kitchen where he could be warm on a wet day. It was there that he finished the little cross. Although it is yet too soon for thee to carve figures for choir stalls or for bosses for chapel, a child's puppet could be made more easily. Why not make one for that poor girl child who hung to my skirts that day? She dwelleth by the hound's ditch in a poor hovel where I go on my errands. What is a hovel? That's not a word we use anymore much, but it means a poor dwelling place or a small house. A girl's plaything? Asked Robin, when he began to think of what fun it might be to carve out a face. He might even make the arms and legs so that they would move. Yes, he said, I will try. So began the making of a doll for the little girl. Head and body were to be in one piece with arms and legs jointed. Brother Matthew will help thee to work that out, said Brother Luke. Soft pine was used because it was easier to cut. And there's the picture of Robin working on that, sitting in his cart. Robin became so excited at seeing real features emerge from the piece of wood that he could hardly bear to take time to attend to his studies. Reading went well, and he was beginning to make fair characters in writing with the quill. Now remember, the quill is a pen made out of a feather and dipped in ink. On clear nights, Brother Hubert took him to a high tower of the monastery to tell him of the stars. Now keep in mind, this is roughly around the 1300s, and Copernicus had already established that the sun was the center of the universe, although not everybody agreed with that. He told Robin, too, of far countries, the Holy Land where crusaders had fought for the tomb of our Lord, and of Greece and Rome, whose ancient languages were the beginnings of many other tongues. He told of Roman legions who had come to Britain centuries before, and of Saxon and Danish kings who in turn had ruled their land. Robin couldn't always remember which ones came first, but he liked to hear Brother Hubert tell about them. One day, Robin was sitting in the cart, finishing the child's doll, when Brother Luke came into the garden. Thy hands are well used to the chisel now, or the knife, he said in praising Robin's work. That is a face of body and body right enough. I see thou art attaching the arms. Will they move? Yes, said Robin. See how this peg fits into the shoulder, then slips into the top of the arms and it swings? See? It will make a little child very happy, said the friar. Now because the day is so fine, and thou art getting so strong, it might be well if we should go fishing. Fishing? Could he really leave the hospice and go fishing? Even the fun of fitting arms and legs to the doll could not keep Robin from wanting to get out into the fields and away from bench and bed, stool and cart. I could sit against a tree and fish, too. Think you? No doubt, agreed Brother Luke. Come then. He lifted Robin to his back, and they went down the green to the brook outside the walls. They fished for a time, each catching several trout, which they wrapped in leaves. The sun shone warm enough through the leafy grove. Insects droned in the noon heat, and the water slipped musically over the green moss stones. Have you guys heard insects droning in the summertime? You've heard them in the trees, that high-pitched drone that you only hear in the summer and early fall. It was very still. Suddenly the quiet was burst with a shout of boys' voices. 6 or 7 urchins. What are urchins? Urchins are small children. That's a term they used back in the Middle Ages, urchins. 6 or 7 urchins ran over the green, stripping off clothing as they came. Robin, looking over his shoulder, saw Geoffrey Atwater, the same lad he had first seen limping through the corridors of St. Mark's. Geoffrey raced down the bank ahead of all the rest, swinging his crutches ahead of him and taking in his stride twice as much ground as the other boys. So was Geoffrey running ahead with his crutches? He sure was. Geoffrey saw Robin at the same moment. "Hi, Crookshanks," he called. "Art finding fish for thy fasting?" Off came the last rugged garment, down went the crutches, and with a whoosh, he was into the water with the others, and away with the current. Thrashing arms and legs beat the water into a foam and spoiled the fishing. You can't catch much fish when there's swimming boys thrashing about. Robin wished with all his heart that he could go into the water and swim too. It was all very well for Brother Luke to bring him fishing, but it only seemed to make it harder that he couldn't run or swim like the other boys. The friar saw Robin's hungry look. "Off with thy jerkin." Now, a jerkin is a small jacket with no arms. It's something the boys would wear back in the medieval times. "Off with thy jerkin," he said, at the same time rising and taking off his own hobbit. Now, hobbit is that monk's coat that they would wear. "We'll give thee a good bath and cleanse thy humor." Cleanse thy humor? What was Brother Luke talking about? Did Robin really need cleansing? Or did he just need a change of attitude? And cleanse thy humor. Who knows? Mayhap we can teach thee to swim. Do you think Robin is starting to have a change of attitude or of humor? Absolutely. He pulled off Robin's hosen, remember the hose that they wore, and carried him into the water, holding and dipping him where the current ran deep. "Now swing thy arms about. with fingers closed to push the water back. Robin pushed and felt himself moving along with Brother Luke, walking and supporting him. All the troubles of the past months seemed to float away with the running of the brook, and strength and power to flow into his arms. Remember when you first started learning how to swim, how someone would hold you and you would push with your arms? That's what Robin is doing now, because he can't move his legs very much. It was wonderful. Brother Luke didn't allow him to stay long in the water, but promised to bring him every day. For some of the time, I have had this in mind, he said. Now I know I was right. I will make thee thine arms even stronger. Soon they will help thee get about on land as well. How? Asked Robin. But even as he said it, he knew what Brother Luke meant. Crutches! That was it. With crutches, he will be able to go about as Geoffrey did. He could play at duck on a rock with the boys. He could join them in hoodman blind and hide and seek. Crutches would be almost as fun as stilts. Then Robin remembered that his father expected him to be a knight. How could he ride horseback in chainmail while his legs were bent and he still had to use crutches? How could he face his father? How bear his mother's pitying look? How would they feel to have a son who could not fulfill his knightly duties? I see thou hast my meaning, said the friar, as he finished dressing Robin. Crutches or crosses, as thou have it, 'tis all the same thing. Remember, even thy crutches can be a door in the wall. By the time they are made, thou will be ready for them. God willing, up now and hold fast whilst we go up the hill. From that day forward, swimming became a part of Robin's everyday life. Besides reading, writing, and the study of history and the stars, Robin was given certain duties in the routine of the church. At the lectern during rehearsals, he turned the pages of the Missal, which is the book that the monks read out of, a book of music notes large enough for all the brothers to see as they stood in the chantry, where they do their chants in the chapel. Each day, too, he worked with Brother Matthew in the carpentry shop. He liked the music and the carpentry better than the reading and writing. But best of all, he liked the swimming. It made him feel free and powerful, even on cloudy or rainy days. And when the weather was quite cool, Robin was taken for his daily swim. And soon he was able to dive beneath the water and play tricks on the good friar. Once, when the boys saw Robin's little boat, they begged to be allowed to sail it too, but they were all eager to try it, so that soon its rigging was broken and its pennant was dragging. So Robin helped each of them make his own boat. So Robin helped each of them make a boat of his own. Geoffrey was made from a piece of the willow overhanging the brook. A twig stuck into a wormhole made the mast, and another twig through a leaf served for a sail. Then Dickon must have one, then Alfred, and the swimming hole became a boatyard. Sometimes they marked out the squares on the sandy bank and played a game of checkers with round stones. Sometimes, on hot day, all the time was spent in the water, and the boys raced Robin to the Wear and back. Once Robin beat them all. The Wear is think of a small dam. That is what a weir is, where the water rushes over. Crookshanks here is as fast as any of us, Geoffrey said proudly. Then Robin felt as if he were one of them. Once Robin dived under the water and hid in the rushes. What are rushes? Those are reeds or plants that grow by the sides of the river. Brother Luke at first scolded him, for he was frightened. Then he said, "Oh, but I am glad for thy mischief, for it is a sign that thou art well." Robin had another reason for knowing he was well, but he kept it a secret. Work was begun on the crutches. They were to be simple straight staves with cross pieces at the top to fit under Robin's arms. Brother Matthew found the wood of proper kind and size. Then he sawed it at the right length, allowing a little for finishing. Brother Luke wheeled Robin to the shed where he could watch. When the first piece of wood was put into the vise, and Brother Matthew began to draw the spoke shave down the length of it, Robin thought it time to tell his secret, for he wanted very much to have a hand in making the crutches, with which he hoped to walk. "Can I shape the pieces, you think?" he asked. "Look," he directed, "I can bear my weight upon my feet. Though I cannot stand long alone, nor can I straighten, but can I not lean upon the bench?" To the surprise of both brothers, Robin hitched along slowly toward Brother Matthew's workbench, where he leaned for a few moments before he found it necessary to sit down. "Now praise our Lord's mercy," said Brother Luke fervently, at the same time putting forth a high stool for Robin to sit on. "Now 'twill be thine own crutches thou wilt wear, made by thine own hands." Brother Matthew blessed himself to show how grateful he was and arranged the work so that Robin could better attend to it himself. It was more exciting to work at the real bench, to draw the sharp knife along the clean wood and hear it snick as the knife took hold, then slither off the shavings. The oak was very hard, and it took real strength to work. But swimming had given Robin good muscle in his arms, so that little by little he was able to shape the staff. Several weeks went by before Robin finished the crutches, but at last they were done. He could hardly wait to try them. "There should be padding and leather on the cross pieces," said Brother Luke. "Let us go into the city to the Pouchmakers' Guild." Now, what do you think was at the Pouchmakers' Guild? What was pouches made out of? It was made out of leather. I have errands for the prior as well. Besides, it is Midsummer's Eve. We shall see the gaiety. What is gaiety and what is Midsummer's Eve? Now, Midsummer's Eve was a time when there was much dancing and celebration, because it was a time when the sun would stand longest during the day. It was going to be the longest day of the year, and they called it Midsummer's Eve. And gaiety, well, that's just fun and feasting and dancing and playing of music. What shall I walk then? Asked Robin. For look, you, I have been trying the crutches already and can go a good pace. See? Robin slid off the stool, fitted the crutches under his arms, and was off across the garth, all in one motion. Softly, softly, Brother Luke advised. 'Tis a good way into the city, even though it sounds and odors do seem to reach us here. So the sounds and the odors of the city reached all the way to the church, or the monk, where the monks live, the monastery. Yes, I'm trying to find my place again. It would be better to go pick-a-back or piggyback and carry thy crosses most of the way. Thou'lt be glad of my old back ere we come to the Ludgate, I'll be bound. It was exciting to go back into the city, especially this Midsummer's Eve. The doorways were decked with branches of green birch and long fennel and St. John's wort. So they decorated the doorways with all this greenery. Some had garlands of flowers, white lilies, and such. Neighbor was merry with neighbor, and those who had wealth set out food and drink before their houses for all who pass by. Can we not stay even a little while? Robin begged. No, my son. When we have done our errands, we shall go back. The brace girdler down Leather Lane willingly gave Robin enough leather to cover the cross pieces and of the crutches and hair to stuff it. Hair? Where did the hair come from? Now think on that. Perhaps animals? Maybe people save their hair when they cut it. I don't know. 'Tis not fit to be sold, he said, being poorly dyed, but 'twill serve thy purpose. So he got the padding for free. They were not far from Robin's home, but he had no wish to see it empty and deserted. How he wished it had been open and his father and mother were there. And that is the end of that. Now remember, there will be a little quiz, so I hope you were listening. Now, let's move to what I want you to do. I think I'm going to end this video now, and I'm going to put down in a text your math assignments and your language arts assignments in a text. I'm also going to be doing, sending you a video, a YouTube video to watch about space. I think you'll enjoy it. I'm going to take these off. So I know this hasn't been easy. I want you to do the best you can with your IXL. I've been paying attention to those of you that have been on, and those of you who have not been on. I want you to try your best. This is not a fun time. This is NTI, non-traditional instruction, but do your best. And we'll get through this time together. Hopefully tomorrow we'll be in class. But until then, try to get outside and have some fun too. All right. So make sure you read the text, your parents read the text, and hopefully we'll see each other tomorrow. All right. I miss you guys. Bye-bye.